Well, firstly, I'd like to welcome Jerome back to our episode for today, and I want to pose a question to both Jerome and Akram. Uh, do you feel it's more important to represent a culture or to represent a character in a movie or TV show?
Mm, that's hard. That's hard because are we talking like how are we talking the representation? Representation. Are we just talking like the standard? Oh, we depicting the correct upbringing of a certain character or race, or how are we going about this? Because I could take this so far.
I guess like so when you're watching a movie or a show, right? And you see like a person of color, play a certain character and maybe perhaps they recast the like maybe it was supposed to be like a white character, right? Do you think it's more important that that actor portray the character or portray the culture, I guess?
Oh, so you're talking about that bullshit Ghost in the Shell? Gotcha. Okay, so I feel as though if we gonna do a character, do the character all the way. Don't try to shortchange it by changing the gender. Unless the gender swap makes sense, I'd rather take a gender swap than a race swap. Because say for instance, if the character was supposed to be Asian, but an Asian male, and you just change it to a female, if that female can do the job and still give you the contextual image of what the character is supposed to be, I'm good. But if you start changing the Asian to Scarlett Johansson or changing the Asian to John Cena, then I'm gonna have a problem because first of all, I don't want to see John Cena.
You can't. You can't possibly.
That's
see
the
him.
point.
Yeah,
that nigga's Danny Phantom. Who? but no, it's just it's like don't disrespect us by changing the race of the character. It's cool when you want to be creative, but just make a new character at the end of the day. You don't gotta shortchange stuff by cutting corners and trying to please us. But it's not actually pleasing us because you slapping us in the face because we are most people of color, and I'm not just talking black for the viewers who want to be like, oh, it's a black thing. No, every person on this panel is a whole different race. Like, so when you think about it, at the end of the day, why would we want to see y'all just tokenize us with a character? Like, give us an original character or make the character make sense. Like, we're not asking for too much.
That's funny you say that. I know a lot of content creators that are like people of color, and they've said the same thing. Like, that the whole race swapping thing feels like a cop out. Like, give us more like original characters that are of color. So that's funny that you mentioned that. And Akram, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I like the question you proposed because it's basically such a broad type of question with so many answers, and I love how Jerome said it. He said it beautifully, and I think that also like race swap stuff, like the U.S. is the biggest to make films, and so usually all the films are very Americanized. So I wonder if, let's say, some people in Japan had the rights to Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios was created in Japan. I wonder how they would approach race swapping and stuff like that. If they would even do it. I wonder if they would actually cast American actors in the first place. It's weird, right? It's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, I think like Jerome said, a lot of times it's like this type of tokenized type of race swap. It could fit like an agenda or whatever. I think it has to make sense with the story. I'm on the same boat like Jerome. I think that gender swap, if it makes sense for the story. I never was a big fan of like race swaps. Original characters, I believe there should be more original characters rather than, oh, we're going to make this character very inclusive by changing the sexuality, changing the race, changing this, changing that, where you're not really doing justice to the original character because some of these characters were created in a time where racial tension was at an all-time high, very high, right? Or certain situations occurred. And so that's where the character is bred from. So now if you try to modernize that and try to, let's say you try to compare something that, if they made a character that something happened in America and then let's modernize that, nothing's happened in America, we have to compare this to like Israel or something like that, then that's another approach to it. But I think it's very important. Like, no one's going to change Jon Stewart's race. He's important. And if you guys read, it was a book, a comic series written by the 12 Years a Slave writer, and it's phenomenal the way how they approach Black Lightning and John Stewart, and how John Stewart is basically like this puppet for the Justice League just because he's black, right? Now, that's important. So I wonder, Captain America being white at first, I wonder what that says too. For like some people, like especially like Hydra, when he turned to Hydra, it's like this kind of racist undertone. I think all of that's really important, and I don't think you should take it lightly just to make some certain small groups happier. And I think that a lot of people are saying that, and they could maybe say, well, you're racist for saying that or whatever. But again, I'm not white, and all of us aren't white, clearly, right? So it's just the truth. I think we need to start speaking the truth, especially in this day and age where we're at the stage where social media is like the printing press of our age. I think that we need to cut the bullshit and just give the straight facts. And so, yeah. I went on a tangent there, but yeah.
No, great points.
Yeah. I feel you. But can I harp back on what you were talking about?
Please.
You got to think about it. Who are they really doing it for at the end of the day?
Right.
If you want to be inclusive, but changing their whole structure of a whole character via their race, who are you trying to be inclusive to? Because at the same time, yes, white people have more characters. We know this. It's a statement that we can't hide it. We can't go behind the bushes and be like they don't have the majority of the characters. They don't have the majority of the impact on what's being shown, stuff like that. So when you think about it, who are you really doing it for? So if I change a character that was originally white, make him, let's just say, Arab, you're not doing it for me. You not doing it for the Arabs around the world, and I can't speak for all of them, but you're not doing it for them because at the end of the day, you just gave a pre-existing character a color swap. Bro, I could go to creative mode on any RPG and do that. So who are you really doing it for? And it is really disrespectful to the different cultures that buy these products or view these products, because it seems like y'all only do that around certain months or seasons. When it's a Hispanic Heritage Month, y'all start, we love everybody. When it's Black History Month, we love Gay Pride Month. Like, when it's time to start representing for the months, that's when y'all act like y'all care. But then y'all go back hiding in somebody's dungeon like Voldemort when it's all said and done. And it's, who is you doing this for? If you're going to be inclusive, be inclusive. If you're going to start putting out characters that's meaningful to other races, just put out the characters. We'll tell you if the character is a stereotype, if it's on some Jim Crow shit. We'll tell you if it's being a tokenized character. We are very vocal. And like you said, social media is basically the printing press. Social media is basically where you're going to put a little sprinkle out, and we'll tell you if the cake is nasty with no problem. You may not like how we say it, but we are going to tell you. Perfect example, when they did the whole Miles became Thor situation.
Oh, yeah.
We told y'all when y'all had the idea and y'all was fluttering around, do right by it, or have a person of color do the comic. Y'all went with the white approach. Then it was a whole bunch of stereotypes. A whole bunch of, oh, this is what the hood is like. Bro, that's not what the hood is like. I don't know who neighborhood you've been to. That's not what the hood is like. Or this is how they dress. That's not how all black men dress. Or that's not how all black people talk. Like, we don't talk illiterate. Like, it's called Ebonics for a reason. Mm-hmm. We're not just saying it like it's the native tongue. Like, it's called Ebonics. You know it, I know it. But it's like, when you do things like that, who are you thinking is going to receive as well? I'm not. I'm pretty sure y'all not. So, at the end of the day, y'all only do it around certain months. Y'all only do it when y'all feel as though that the viewership from that select group of individuals is fading. That's when y'all want to start, oh, we love everybody. No. Y'all love y'all. Y'all love the people that's heads or above water in terms of your economic structure of your company. So, when we start disappearing, that's when y'all start acting like y'all care. But it's like, bro, at the end of the day, just make the content. We'll tell you if it's good, or we'll tell you, again, if you're going too far or try to appropriate a whole culture that you know nothing about. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, yeah.
I could have been more rough on it, but
And I think that, and I completely agree. And I think that for the most part, I think how this whole thing started was when something gets super big, like Twitter. There's a way to politicize something to get certain agendas flowing. And I think movies are the same way, especially when you have a big like studio. I think it's a way to kind of cater towards one group, but you kind of like have the other groups not get the light too. And I think, which is interesting too, because for the most part, you see this happen more with like white characters, where they just always switch out white characters. I wonder how it's going to be taken if they switch out like. And I want to ask you a question. Do you think that's racist? Like, because like let's say we switched out an Arab character. Let's was Kamala Khan is now white, but she was adopted by Pakistanis for some reason. They just added that, but we just want her to be white. That's probably racist. That's like, I don't know if that's stupid to me, right? Would it be racist to also do the same with a black character then? Like Black Panther doesn't match, but what if you actually did that with like a Falcon? You made him like Spanish or something or white. Like, is that actually racist? Because
it's disrespectful as hell. But we got to start identifying what actually is racism. Racism is when those in power systematically have an advantage over you. We don't never have the advantage. So when we start pointing this is racist, we got to identify what is racism. But we keep pointing at everything as racism, then we lose what the core value of racism is. And at the end of the day, we can't always tout this is racism. This is racism. No, it's just dumb as hell. It's just ignorant as fuck. Excuse my language, children, if you are watching, but yeah. We got to stop pointing a racism finger when half of the time it's not truly racism. It's just people in power are so disconnected from the people that's in the middle ground to below that they just ignorant as fuck. But if, say for instance, if they did make Falcon, let's just say poly swap them to a whole different race, that's just ignorant as fuck. Because first of all, we don't have that many black characters. Who the hell want to see a Spanish Falcon? Like, just let Falcon pass the torch.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do. Like, it's proper ways that you can introduce characters of color without taking pre-existing white characters and just color swapping them. And in this case, race swapping. Like, you can legit think about it. How they introduce Miles into the series. Perfect example how you can do it without being disrespectful.
Yep.
Miles is still Peter in a way, but they added some flair to it. So Miles isn't a tokenized character. He has his own story.
And he has his own different powers too, which is interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's beloved now. Everyone loves Miles. I think they nailed it with Miles, to be honest. I wish they did that with more characters, which is interesting too, because Falcon does have like later on, there's a guy of like Spanish ethnicity and he becomes like the next Falcon after Falcon becomes Captain America. And I think that's all right too. I think you just need to create more characters. And sorry guys, we're going through a little 10 Cloverfield thing.
No, as soon as I start talking about the white people, my whole system gets shut down. Like,
they're on to us.
You have to let out some rage, right?
No, as soon as we start talking about Marvel, my system said, oh, nope. Yeah, like the disrespect Marvel. Listen, I love y'all, but I'm going to talk my shit. Like, y'all going to accept this.
Mm-hmm. We should talk openly, yeah.
As soon as I said something about Marvel, my whole system said, no, that's take a break.
Not just Marvel, I feel like it's everywhere now, and I just feel like like I'm all for diversity, but I feel like sometimes when you do diversity for the sake of diversity, it kind of becomes, like Jerome said, very commercialized, and then it just takes away the value of like creative expression, right? Yeah. Like for me, it comes down to two things. It comes down to context, and it comes down to credibility. And what I mean by those is, like, for context, you have to understand a certain character. You have to understand their background, their motivations, you know, who they surround themselves with. And then for credibility, you have to look at the actors portraying them. Like, why did you pick this specific actor? What do they bring to this character, right? Like, for example, I'll bring up Stan Edgar from The Boys. Originally a white character in the comics. They had Giancarlo Esposito portray him, and I thought it was interesting because they actually mention in season 2 of The Boys, Butcher brings up the whole Stormfront thing and how it should offend him and he brings up the point that that's a white man's game, right? So I love that they actually brought a kind of like a newer version of Stan Edgar, but with personally I thought it added more to the story behind it. And then you look at shows like we just reviewed the Resident Evil series on Netflix, and they recasted Albert Wesker with Lance Reddick. And while I did enjoy his performance, I don't know what it really added. Like why specifically did you cast him? Because traditionally, yes, Albert Wesker is white, but what did adding Lance Reddick really add to that character, right?
That's
just my
absolutely. Yeah. Well, and again, back to the white thing. I think when you have a black character, you can't change that character from being black to another race because it's stupid. But certain cultures and stuff, they kind of, there's a difference in growing up, and I think by replacing a lot of white characters, you kind of like are disregarding like certain white people or characters rather than racist, but it's kind of like, I don't know what's the point.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, I don't. But here's my thing too, right? Like I'm just gonna say it out. I find the Ariel thing from Little Mermaid to be dumb as fuck. Like I felt like, oh, you guys did that just to do it. But I don't mind Heimdall. Like I actually like Idris Elba, and I don't really like. I don't know where to stand here because John Boyega was supposed to be Nova. I don't know why. Like I'm shipping that though. Like for some reason, like I don't know where to stand because it's not. I just like certain actors too. I think for me. So I don't really know. Sometimes it's like cool. So I don't know whether to like, is it that deep or it should be deep because you're supposed to relate this to reality, right? Like this is our upbringings. Where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
So that means something. That shapes who you are. But at the same time too, maybe they're not taking it that deep. Maybe they're just like, let's just do this. Because Jerome said something one time we were talking. I remember we were talking about who's going to be the next Black Panther. And you said a great point, right? I said, do you think it's more important for a black man to be the next Black Panther rather than a female? And you were talking about representation for black females. And look, now we got Shuri. And I think they probably nailed it, right? So I don't know where to stand. I'm really confused. But I wanted to ask you, Jerome, now, do you think that black people are being represented properly nowadays? Or do you think it's like not really?
No, it's a lot of masking going on. And the reason why I say no and masking is because they will cast, let's say, if we're in a room and we each got me, you, Dylan, and let's say one of our white friends, each up for 20 different roles. We may get 2 out of the 20, but our white friend got 18. Or probably got all 20, but his other 20 are lead roles while we are either side characters or that friend that's there for comedic relief.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when we start talking about how black people are like presented or like represented currently, I feel as though, we got our staples. We got our Taraji P. Henson's, Idris Elba. If you want to tote The Rock as black because his background, you have your all the Marvel females like from Wakanda. If you look at those women and a background in this industry, most of their male counterparts, y'all not touching them. But when you think about it, we have them. They the staples. But besides them, who are they really giving a chance to? You have Netflix doing their thing. They hire black teens, but they got their select few that they constantly hire. Like you see them in every series or film. Or you hear their voice in one of the voiceovers. So it's like, we represent it. They pushing us to the forefront, but they selective. And once they find them, they don't like to tote the line of experimenting with more. And I feel as though it's like when I watch Kung Fu movies, I see Donnie Yen, Jackie Chan, Jet Li. If Bruce Lee was still alive, we'll still be seeing him kicking people in the head, saying "Wacha." Like, come on. But you only see them. And it's like, I'm pretty sure over there for that culture is way more prominent actors and actresses that you could pick for these roles, but they don't like to do that. And it's crazy because this world is so big. You can expand. You can bring more people to the forefront. That's why I like Netflix, because they're not afraid to bring certain people from different races, minus the whole black side of the thing. When you start looking at their K series, you always seeing some faces because the production is so massive, so they gotta have a whole bunch of people. But it's the faces. Even people who are, like, I'm watching the series right now, I never saw this person in none of the other 2 million Netflix series that they pumping out of somebody's cave. But they there. They may not say nothing, but you see them, and that's the start. They don't have to have a prominent role. We see them, and we constantly see them. Other companies don't do that. Or they may do that for, like we said, a season. This is like, at the end of the day, if you're not going to be honest when you start putting that inclusive in your titles or in your slogans, I really don't care, because at the end of the day, if we collectively take our bread somewhere else and start producing our own studios, producing our own films, then they're going to want, hey, come back. We love y'all. Y'all want some sweet potato pie? Y'all want some watermelons? No, we don't want that shit. So it's like, yeah, we represent it, but it's sneakily representations. And people in the comment section, when they see this or on social media, probably gonna be like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, but y'all not us. Unless you are my race, look like us, or from our background, you're not us. If your skin is the color of my PS5 controller, you're not us. So you don't know how we feel when we don't see us, when we don't hear us, or when we use as comedic relief, or when we use as a filler character. You don't know that pain, or growing up only seeing white, or only hearing white voices for our favorite cartoon series, or seeing the same person for every kung fu movie. Like, he's the only kung fu person. Granted, we love him, but bro, I'm gonna see somebody else do a backflip into a kick into somebody's ocean or something. Like, let me see it. But like I said, if you the same color as my Nintendo Switch dock, my PS5, or the controller, you don't know. You don't know because you never had your seasoning taken away. Granted, most of y'all don't use seasoning, but that's a whole other subject.
Oh, bravo. That's,
and
those
to
are
all my
great
white
points.
friends, I love y'all, but if you don't know the struggle, don't open your mouth.
And that also brings up another question too, because I see a lot of people complain, like on TikTok and Twitter, about how certain actors aren't really accurately portraying certain characters. Like, I'll use Elizabeth Olsen as an example, because Scarlet Witch is a gypsy and she's Jewish in the comics, but Elizabeth Olsen is white. So do you think being an actor, you have a responsibility to do your research, or do you think it needs to be as accurate as possible to the character?
No, it's always good to, again, you have to relate to the times you're in, unless if it's a period piece. And not only that, most of the time we have to understand, a lot of the times, we were talking when we were doing the Let's Talk About MCU stuff, a lot of times it's the directors, or somebody can clearly not do it, but they're trending, or they're just they're getting roles, right? We want this person, we're going to let them get away with certain things, right? It's the same thing with Halle Berry when she dropped the accent. It's like certain things like that. I mean, I can't really tell, are you really in that culture and stuff? Because she had the accent, and then now it just went away. Elizabeth Olsen had that type of Russian accent, right? But it's like it went away too. I didn't know she was supposed to be like from like Jewish and stuff like that. I completely forgot that Magneto was. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Jerome?
Okay, so real funny thing. I don't know if y'all watched WWE when we was growing up, but remember Kofi Kingston? If y'all remember him, people in the comment section, when y'all listen to this or watch it, Kofi Kingston came out as Jamaican.
Oh, really?
This motherfucker lost his accent quick as fuck. My man's was Booyaka My man was selling bean pies at the concession. My man's had all the bright colors on. This motherfucker was Jamaican.
Full on Caribbean.
Now he a Philly person.
Oh my goodness.
He dropped the accent. He dropped the Jamaican colors. He ain't selling bean pies no more. He throwing pancakes in the stands. Who the
Wow.
And nobody said shit.
Right.
Who? Okay, so draw this up. A black man. You telling me all these damn Jamaicans? Bro, I got a few around the corner from me. I could have asked them to wrestle. All these Jamaicans, and you found just a random, well, wasn't random, but a black man to do a Jamaican accent, then you scrapped the Jamaican accent like we didn't hear this man promo for God know how many months to a year.
Oh, goodness.
Now he's just talking regular like us.
Right.
No accent. No nothing. My man did a behind the scenes special when he showed his house. Motherfucker was talking like he was from Jersey. Like, who the fuck is this? Ain't the same character I knew.
That'd be like for me, like if Manny Pacquiao like moved to Britain and he started speaking like UK or some shit. That'd be like the most weirdest thing I'd ever experienced.
It's like boxing, you know? That's crazy.
Bro,
yeah.
that's just like if Conor McGregor just started talking with a whole Indian accent. Who the fuck is this nigga? Who built Bull? And it's just it's weird how those in power don't seem to understand how disrespectful it is to have somebody portray an accent and for them to actually go and get somebody of the accent.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, bro, just because he's black, that don't mean he's Jamaican or African. Like, we all not Jamaican or African. Like, or just because he's Asian, that don't mean he's Japanese or just Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Like that mistake when you call somebody who's Filipino Chinese, it's like, bro, do your research. They not all the same. Like they don't all be on the same field together. They don't all share the same damn farm. Like, or when they tout somebody as Arab as Peck, like, bro, they don't all bomb the same way. Like,
exactly. We're different.
Like,
we prefer vests.
Diversity.
Yeah,
it matters.
Think about it. Like,
well,
bruh, it's so shitty how they treat the other races, but there's nobody that's going to check them but us. That's why I feel like those social media platforms, everybody is a critic.
Mm-hmm.
I have a set number of characters that I can critique your stuff and let you know, this ain't it. Don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Oh, I don't know if y'all into the gaming world of Final Fantasy, but recently IGN did a story. I mean, not a story, but an interview for the creators and stuff. And they sneakily snuck in this little question about representation, like blacks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could find it, I'll bring it up later.
I'll just put it up on
clear
screen, yeah.
But it was like his way about going about the whole people of color in the series was kind of shallow and half-assed. And it's like, bro, if you couldn't properly just put together people of color, don't even have to be black. Then just say I didn't feel as though that I was the right person to bring forth these characters. But when you start talking about something, oh, we wanted to be historically accurate. My nigga, we got titans. We got dragons that's just flying. What is accurate about a crystal shooting from the ground and somebody shooting a fireball from the top of a horse? What is accurate about that? But, oh, we wanted to keep it accurate to the times.
Right.
Motherfucker, I just saw Shiva, who's not even the correct Shiva. Like, do y'all know Shiva backstory? That's not Shiva. It was never Shiva. So, who are you representing? Because I'm pretty sure if you ask anybody who reveres that god, what does Shiva look like? They're going to look at you like, that's not Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
So, what the fuck was you trying to accurately depict? And just say, I didn't feel as though that I was the right person for that job to represent the other races. But when you have ass stuff and try to backpedal by still keeping the line drawn, it's like, I love you, I love your game series, but how can I support it when you on some shit like this? This is crazy.
I heard I saw like a segment of Dave Chappelle once speak, and he talked about the Chappelle show, and he said, and he was talking a little bit about Kanye. Kanye's in the news right now, and he was saying that he said specifically for black people, he can't do another show because what happens is if he does another show, they own his name or some shit like that. Like the Chappelle, they own his last name. And I'm thinking, I wonder if it cuts deep. Like I wonder, you were talking about the wrestler or the Jamaican accent. I wonder if like there's this facade. It's like weird. It's almost like a poetry, like a dark poetry. It's like I'd rather have somebody that's fake get into this so that we're not also taking his upbringing. It's like weird. It's like it's really weird. It's almost as if it's like some religious thing, like satanic. It's like you're signing your soul over to this place, so you better have like a fake upbringing. It's really weird. Yeah, but Dylan, you haven't spoke for a while. Why don't you give us some more of your thoughts?
Well, I was thinking, does also like an actor's range also play a part in it? Because Jerome had a good point. Not all black people are Jamaican, so just having a random black person, right, that doesn't really represent the culture well. But at the same time, if you look at, let's use Black Panther for an example, Chadwick Boseman wasn't Sosha. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that, but do you think having an actor's range brings something more to the character, or do you think it would have been more representing if they had actually brought like an African actor?
That's interesting.
I mean, it could go either way,
right?
In that case, because it's that distinction of, are they being disrespectful by taking the character? Because I feel as though if they would have got somebody who was African, I wouldn't have batted an eye because you were doing right by the character. Chadwick, he did right by the character. It was like, as much as we could nitpick about that aspect, he didn't disrespect the culture. And that's why I feel as though it's missing. Most people, when they do these like race swaps, it's like that underlining of disrespect to the character. Chadwick, he added the voice, because we all know he don't talk like that or sound like that. Right. He added the voice, but he didn't mock the voice. He added the certain gestures, but he didn't mock it. Like everything about his portrayal of T'Challa, he paid homage to the art.
He did his homework. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we can nitpick, but are we outright disrespecting the character? Because that's where you gotta be like, okay. I mean, I could be mad about that, but I can't really hold it against him because he didn't disrespect the source material. He didn't disrespect the character, and he's still a black man. T'Challa is still a black man at the end of the day. Forget his race. Once he go out of Wakanda, he is seen as a black man. So, by everybody's standards, he's not seen as T'Challa. He's not seen as the king. Oh, that's that black man who owns a lot of money. That's what he's seen as. Or that's that uppity, I'm not going to finish that one, but yeah. It's just like, when you start disrespecting the character, that's when we really start talking. But something simple like that, where I'm being a little disrespectful, is not as simple, but there's nothing that I'm going to bat an eye too much about because you're not disrespecting the character. And at least you tried to portray the character. You didn't just switch the accent off mid-movie and start talking like you from Brooklyn. Right. He didn't do that, so I can't even be mad at him. Like, he did his homework. He did what he was supposed to do. He paid homage. The whole movie is paying homage to Africa as a whole. So
yeah, that's why I keep going back to like the context and credibility thing. It's like you said, we have to pay homage to these cultures, right? And even though Wakanda is a fictional nation, it is inspired by many African nations and cultures, right? So even though Chadwick is American, in a way, his range as an actor allowed him to adopt all these different ideologies and backgrounds and to create a character that I feel really represented people in a way.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
That's the only thing I'm saying, that you don't hear no Africans saying Chadwick shouldn't have been Black Panther. But I'm damn sure if you would have had Zac Efron as Black Panther, it would have been somebody ready with a brick to hit this motherfucker in the back of his head every day. Because if Troy Bolton would have been Black Panther,
Shit.
oh no, I would. Somebody would have had to hit him with a brick. I'm sorry. Because that's just bro. Did you see his acting in High School Musical?
You'd have seen Black Panther and feel like, gotta get my head in the game.
gotta get my head in the game.
And that's when it been hit him with a brick.
Right.
Hit him with a brick.
Yeah. Do you think that? So, what do you think are the main proprietors for this type of ordeal that's going on with the race swapping? And do you also think that? To finalize our points, do you think that do the companies think that race is actually deep, or they're just doing that for like an agenda or something like that?
Oh hell no, it's very.
And where did it start? But where did it start too? It's like I mean,
Jerome already talked about it, but
where did it start?
I always think of that one episode of George Lopez when George got a job offer from this company because he was Latino.
When he had to fill the quote.
Right. Yeah. I was mad as shit about that, but yeah, it's very commercialized, and yeah, I feel like a lot of politicians do this as well. They only care about diversity, like Jerome said, when it becomes relevant, right? When they need something from those minorities, right? I feel like it's never really about the issue. It's really just about, brownie points at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yo, when you think, I guess the white people got them.
I guess so. How about you, Akram? What are your thoughts on it?
We have to
where
face.
Do you think it started?
Well, we have to face.
Fuck you in the Phantom Zone.
Oh, wait, what?
You where you go, boy? You in the Phantom Zone?
It's like
fuck you fighting ghosts.
I was at first, yeah. Sorry. No, I for sure. It's everything is politicized. It's all about money at the end of the day. It's a business. You have to go with what trends, right? That's where the money is. And you also are getting paid by some people that are trying to politicize some things. I think everything has an agenda. And I don't like agendas like Captain America says. And I also think that we have to be more respectful. At this day and age, we're very separated and we take a lot of stuff seriously by seeing it on the screen, but then you give it like 5 minutes and you kind of forget about it. And that's a very unhealthy mindset. And I think what happens is you don't take some things that are serious as seriously as it should be. And some things that are very serious, you take it serious enough, but you kind of forget about it 6 months later because that's how life is right now. I think we need to stop with that. And I think we need to cut the bullshit. And if you want to make a movie, I think you have to be as respectful as possible towards the characters because those characters, you have to treat them like real people. Some actors can get away with the roles like Chadwick, obviously, and plus he's a black man. If he goes to America, that's fine. The Elizabeth Olsen thing, I didn't even think about that too much, to be honest. But I mean, I guess to them, it's what's exterior and could it work? And if we had to change the exterior, how does that benefit us? In terms of stuff, I don't think it's like this big philosophical thing that they're like, oh shit, yeah, we're doing this because we want to represent this. You may think it is. They'll put that on Twitter and people will defend it, but that's not really why. They want you to talk about it. This is a way to market movies. So I think this is the problem. I don't know if it'll ever get fixed, but I think people are starting to wake up a little bit. I don't know.
Oh man, that's funny, bro. That shit not gonna get fixed. Yeah. Because the people in power are still going to be in power. And they training the next person. And unless the next person that's going to take over for them start making the changes, it's never going to be fixed. So I pray that who's ever in these studios, who's in these positions of power, the person that's getting groomed to take over, I hope they are more acceptable to stepping outside their bubble. They realize, oh, it is color in this world. It's not just black and white. So hopefully that can start to change. We are seeing it, but it shouldn't be this damn slow. From the time of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, from the civil rights movement to all these prominent movements of change that took place over the years, from all the speeches, from all the TED Talks. Why does it feel like, yeah, we may took a step in the right direction, but it's like I could jump over to the next square block and that's where we at. We not 4 square blocks ahead. We only 1 square block ahead. And that's I think that contributes to a lot of misconception between those who are higher up versus those who got to push out these messages. Because think about it, you can say all the pretty stuff you want on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform. Shit, write a letter, send it by Harry Potter Owls. Who cares? You can say whatever you want, but if what you're showing us is not indicative to what you're typing or presenting vocally, it's like, where's the change? Where is the, oh, we love y'all or we have y'all back? Like, I don't know if y'all into the sports world, but one of my favorite like sports analysts is Shannon Sharp. He always talks about it. And it's like, we don't care for these little token aspects that y'all, we don't care about no breadcrumbs. We want the whole bread. Stop telling me that you here for me 1 month, then disappear in the next month. I'm not here for it. My people not here for it. My friends not here for it. It's a slap to the face that, like I keep saying, it's a slap to the face to everybody when you try to still be my friend to get my money, but you don't like my ass.
Right.
Or you find like I'm not where you're at. So it's like, it's
like you're down with the culture
so
today,
crazy.
but not tomorrow, right? It's so
Yes,
disingenuous.
think about it. When it's Pride Month, how many, just on YouTube alone, how many ads, if you didn't have premium, or just how many ads, period, would you see pop up for Pride?
That's true.
In just one video.
Mm-hmm.
When Pride Month is over, where them ads at? Where them same slogans? Where them same billboards? TV commercials? Water bottles? Shirts? You don't see them. When it's Hispanic Heritage Month, bro, same thing. Like it's to the point where the company, they support us when it's time to cough up money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to hold that against everybody in the company because I don't believe that it's everybody. But when the head of the snake is corrupted, then the whole snake is eventually going to follow suit, even if they don't want to. It's like in middle school, when a line leader makes a left, but we're supposed to turn right, instinctively, you don't think, oh, I know I'm supposed to go this way, but I still got to follow the line leader. And that's where I think that we're at. We know, well, the people in power know what to do, but since they're the line leader, they go one way. The people who follow them
podcast
gotta go wants to go another way, but it's like the line leader took a left, we gotta take that left with them. It's like, unless people start speaking up, people start boycotting, which you can't because there's always somebody to replace you. Shit is not gonna change. Unless we just, I'm not even gonna say it because y'all might get canceled, but I'll say it when we all, bro, listen, YouTube is family friendly. I can't say that last word, but yeah. Unless we really start like building our own seats, our own tables, start producing our own content, it's not going to change. At least not while we're alive. It'll probably change later on with our kids, probably like 3 to 4 generations down the line. But if we together start building the foundations now, maybe our great grandkids could be like, thank you, or something like that. Or not even thank you, just be in a world where they see representation. Or where they don't have to see a character being depicted with the worst light shined on them. So,
wow.
As long as we keep doing us.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's really deep. I think Jerome basically summarized that really well. Honestly, you had beautiful points. You too, Dylan. I think that's probably where we're gonna wrap up. Do you guys have any little thing you want to say before we get to where we should follow Jerome?
No, fuck that Popeyes lady. I'm still not over that.
Yeah,
she's the perfect example of a slave. Listen here. Y'all gonna listen to my Popeye rant. Like Cat Williams said, that bitch is a slave. She is a slave. She be coming up with new recipes. We ain't never see her at
we
no
exposing
nigga meeting.
Popeyes today.
She directly the motherfucker for the colonel. Like, she's a house slave. Because That ghost pepper chicken, it was good, but bitch, you ain't checking. You ain't send no email.
Don't get me started on Jemima.
Oh, we want to go with it. Listen, man, Kent Williams said it better.
Oh god.
That bitch is a slave. I'm gonna leave that day. She keep inventing new recipes and don't be checking in. She gonna fuck around and have chimichangas, ghost pepper chicken, or some shit. No. And I'm tired of Taco Bell trying to sell chicken to niggas. No, Taco Bell. We don't want that shit. No. And Arby's, stop trying to get niggas in there.
Right.
We do not mess with roast beef like that. We are not gonna, just because you put an anime character in the front, I don't mean you're gonna sneakily get niggas in there. You gonna need to do the curly fries and the Jamocha shake.
Oh boy.
And extra dipping sauce, but that's it.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
You went
Another
deep there. Yeah.
I could say something about Jollibee, but I'm gonna reserve my comments.
Oh, we talking about my guy. I got one of them right around the corner from my job. Who do they be catering to?
I don't even know at this point. I feel like it's not even like my culture anymore.
These motherfuckers gonna come to my job and say something. You know we sell spicy chicken sandwiches. No niggas don't want no spicy chicken. That's why we got Chick-fil-A. We don't want that shit. We got Jesus down the street. We don't want that. He may be closed on Sunday, but we got Jesus Monday to Saturday. We don't want that shit.
Well,
that's because they in cahoots with the Popeye lady.
You heard it here, folks. Thank you, Jerome, for joining us on our episode of Let's Talk About.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for joining in if you made it this far.
Fucking slave.
But yeah.
Oh,
Well, where can we follow you, Jerome? I know you came back finally. Very nice video you came out with. So
listen, man. I had some stuff in the works.
Yeah.
I'm currently still writing the script because I got a battle video coming out between Sora from Kingdom Hearts and Rimuru from the Slime series. As you can probably see on my posters, is one of the characters back there somewhere. Yeah, but yeah, videos coming out soon. See y'all in like 2 weeks. You can follow me at BlvkVanitas on all social platforms. And yeah, check me out.
All right, you guys.
I won't talk about the Popeyes lady in my video,
No,
but
I doubt that. I feel like he's been holding that shit in for a while.
I was, bro.
That was harbored anger.
That's the content we need, Jerome.
But you guys heard it here. If you guys like the discussion, be sure also to check out Jerome's channel and his social channels linked down below. Again, if you're new to the channel and you really like this discussion, we do reviews every week. We're gonna finish Handmaid's Tale. We're also doing Andor. We have plenty of reviews, plenty of movie reviews. But Dylan, please take us away.
Yeah, and we're actually, funny enough, going to be reviewing Black Panther Wakanda Forever next week. So if you guys are excited for that movie, you'll want to check out our review. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. And you can check our socials on Instagram and TikTok as well. And you can also follow Jerome on his Instagram as well. So thank you guys for tuning in for this special episode of Lunch Table Podcasts. And until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.
Thank you. Yo, why you sound like a youth pastor, bro?
I got the Spider-Man thing like underneath.
Like, bro, sound like a whole youth pastor. Like, when you start talking like that.